show you this really quick as well. So boom, it enters the bottom. Oh, okay, so I have that. Maybe, but that seems kind of plain. Do I want to idle? Yeah, sure, let's have it idle. You know, let's just hit check. Come over here, talk to him, boom, and you see it kind of bobbing up and down now. So the dialog box is idling. And yeah, so you can put your custom UI in there, right? So this is what that is. Everything is drag and drop in and select buttons, basically what you want to have. That's how easy this is going to be. Text effects. So do I want a typewriter effect? Do I want a bouncing effect? Do I want to fill the center to left? Do I want a scroll effect? Do I want a dialog text idle? Let's just go over a few of these, I guess. I'm not sure if I have this one hooked up or not. I hope I do. So here's the idle, which is the bobbing. Typewriter effect. Right now I don't have any effect, right? So dialog speed just triggered here. Typewriter effect. You know, all of these effects that you're going to have too, you know. Hello everyone, the Senpai Code here. So I wanted to go over what I've been working on, which is currently the dialog system. Don't worry about it saying 3D dialog up top here. It will work for all 2D or 3D projects. This works for visual novels, RPGs, MMORPGs, first-person shooters. This is a dialog system. It's a universal one. For the Unity game engine, so I'm going to really quickly go over some of the stuff that I currently have. I'm about 80% done. I want to add a lot more and actually make this a bit more powerful than what it currently is. So let's go over the dialog system first. Starting at the top, I wanted something simple where people could just literally drag and drop whatever UI they have or whatever they have in their project characters that needs to be dragged and dropped in, as well as anything that needs to be checked on and off. They just check on and off. So that's simple. You check what you want on and you drag and drop whatever you have. If you have like a dialog box or certain UI elements, like the continue button or the back button, stuff like that, the end button. So this is the name text, the dialog text for the UI, which is actually in the UI HUD here. So for button settings, you choose if you want the continue button, if you do or not, and if you do want to have a continue button for your keyboard, you can select the input here, so I can select whatever I want, if I want the A or F key or H key, whatever, for the buttons. And there's actually a lot in here, so here's I currently have it as an F. Dialog back key, do I want a dialog back key? If I do, what would that keyboard button be, or key? Continue button, do I want a continue button? I do. So here's where I was explaining that you just drag and drop your UI element in. So if I have the dialog components here, I'll have the dialog box and then I'll have the continue button. I'll just literally drag and drop it in. So if you have it in, that's what you'll do. Continue text, do I want just a continue text rather than a button? So in some games or some projects, you'll have just the text saying continue without a button, and it'll be at the bottom of the dialog. You can just have that if you don't want a continue button. Same thing, you'll just drag and drop it in. It's already in here. Back button, back text, so again, if you want the text rather than the button, and same with the end button, you'll just drag and drop it in. End text, end button. Scroll slider, so if you're going to have projects that will scroll down for the dialogue, you can drag and drop the scroll slider in here. Interact text, so if you want an interact text, so some of this will actually be easier if I just show you. So coming in here, the interact text, so the F to chat, that's what that is. Don't show buttons till after dialogue has finished. That's for the typewriter effect. I'll have it hidden until you have the typewriter effect. So project settings, the main camera. It'll actually find the main camera. You don't actually have to drag and drop a lot of this in. If it's a player, it'll actually find the player, so I don't actually need to drag and drop it in. Same with the main camera. And the main camera, the reason I have it grabbing that is there will be certain shot positions where I can actually transition it over, and I'll show you that actually right now. Let me just close this right here. So for the player here, I can actually have the camera to focus current speaker, current player camera. It will actually grab that at the moment, I believe. Transition speed, so how fast do I want, or do I want it to be instant transition? So I'll go over that right now. So this would be for a 3D game like an MMORPG or an RPG. We remember where I can actually also have the player, the NPC face the player, like in a typical RPG or an MMORPG. So it's going to go that. Oh, and if I have that, I'd actually need to disable the render, but I actually can't do that right now, because then that would actually disable the player and any armor or anything. It'll grab all the models and disable the mesh render. But I have a shot position currently on this, and there is no mesh renderer, so I can't actually grab it. So it's currently not working until I figure how I'm going to get around that. So it's something I already, like, it's all written in, I just have to figure that. So if I hit the F key, so that's the shot transition, the camera transition there. Here is the UI, here, so here's the sprite, and I actually have, I'll go over the NPC here after this. So Jane, hello there, John. As you notice, here's the text and the button, so it will highlight too. So I have the text as a button. I have a sprite here, I have the dialog box and the name and the dialog text. It's been a while, where have you been? And then the transition, it's at 5, so it'll actually transition to the player. So this is the player, John. The NPC was Jane. And it'll actually go through. And this is an RPG, MMORPG type thing. And I can actually have dialogue going with it. I'll explain all that after. And then it goes into the choices. So there's actually 4 choices. I should have maximized this at play, but there's 4 choices, and I can actually select whichever choice I want, and it'll just do the camera shot position. And I'm just going to skip through it, and then it's going to go back to John. And so that's what it is by the transition, or I can actually have an instant transition, which will just make it go instantly over to, and you see the, well, you can't really see with the camera angle, but the NPC actually face the player. And so this is what I was talking about by having the disable player render, because you don't want, if you're going to have the dialogue facing just the NPC speaker rather than switching back and forth, you can just have it facing just the NPC, the camera. So having the player render disabled would actually give you just the shot of the player, or the NPC, sorry, with the dialogue. So you could do something like that. So I'm actually going to turn that off. And all of these are working, by the way. So you do have, I'll go over this and then jump back to the dialogue. There's so much in this, it's so powerful, like I said, that there's so much to explain. I'm just going to quickly try to rush through this. So dialogue settings, you can actually separate the dialogue. So if you have like a guard in like Elder Scrolls or something, you talk to him multiple times and he has different dialogue. So I could actually create what I had for the dialogue. So if I go into dialogue amount here, you can actually select dialogue. So for this NPC, I could actually have both of these dialogue. Right now I have one for Jane and then one for John. And so this is John's. And then so in each one you have the sentence. You can select how many lines you have. So I can have one line. Actually, I could actually only have one element, actually, to be honest. And it will go through each one separate. So if I have 3 here and it's just one for the guard, I actually don't need 2 elements, I just need this one. It'll actually play one at a time, so I could put, well, that's some nice armor you have there. Just be sure to stay out of trouble within this one. And it'll play this one. And then next time you talk to him, it'll play the next one, and you could have whatever, just step out of the way, I'm walking here, or whatever. Stuff like that, you know, whatever you have for your lines. You can have the dialogue separated, so that's what that is. And then repeatable, is it going to be repeatable or not? And if it's not, I could actually destroy it. If it's going to be like a chest or something, and they open the chest one time, and they get like an item out of it, and the chest says something to, you found something or nothing in there, and then the chest destroys or like fades out or whatever. You can have it destroy on complete. Repeatable, so if it's guard and you don't want to destroy him, the guards just walk, and then it's for like a quest or something, because I do want to have a quest system as well as an attribute system hooked up to go with this later on. They're going to be expansions that I plan on designing. They're actually in the works. So destroy after complete, make sure repeatable is off, of course, if it's going to be destroy on complete. Dialogue input here for the player, for the NPC. So here's the sentences. So character dialogue, you select how much characters are going to be in this. So for a visual novel, if you're going to have 6 characters speaking in a row, you can have 6 here. But since I only have 2 here, the player and the NPC, I'll just have 2 here. And is this an NPC speaker or a player speaker? And that's for the camera transition, basically, as well as a few other things here. Dialogue above character. So word bubbles, you can actually have word bubbles as well. It is working. I'll just have to drag it. Actually, I could actually just turn on the the bubble here to actually show you. So if I actually go down to dialogue speech bubble and actually turn this on and turn this off, it should work. I might have to grab it would be this one here, sorry. Alright, yeah, this one. So if I hit play now, it should work. Actually, let me just maximize this, just to give you all dialogue above player. So here's the dialogue box here. It's going to grab the bubble. Right now it's grabbing the box. So if I actually come down here and dialogue speech bubble, is that what I named it? I think. So basically, yeah, you just drag and drop in. So if I come up here and I hit F on here, it'll grab it, but I don't have the text set up. So like I was saying, you'd go over to the dialogue here. Actually, it's right here. So if I come over, I can actually just close this one here, grab the name. I can actually drag and drop the name here, and then I can actually drag and drop the dialogue text here for this one, then hit play. And so yeah, this is the dialogue bubble above, and it'll go through. And then if it's the player speaking as well, the dialogue bubble will actually switch and go to this one. So that's the dialogue bubble, and that's how easy it is to actually just switch. I'm just going to switch everything back here really quick because I don't want the dialogue bubble on. But yeah, you can have dialogue bubbles above the character, and then this is switch back. I'm just going to drag and drop the name and the dialogue, and then switch this dialogue on and this one off. So there we go, and that should be back working. So then it does have a Y adjustment and an X adjustment, so it does normally place it in the center, and then every character, of course, is going to be different, right? Like you might have an orc or a giant or something, so you may have to move the adjustment. You can just move it right here. You don't have to edit. You don't have to move in the UI. You don't have to adjust anything. You just adjust it here. That's simple. So I'm going to turn that off here. So yeah, so that's basically why you have the player speaker and NPC speaker. And then for visual novels and stuff, I do have, so the sprite stage was the one that's inside the box here that I showed you earlier, which is, so this is the sprite position. And then, so if I wanted to, I could actually move the position. So if this was for like a visual novel, I could actually do a left or right stage. So if I do left stage, it's going to come over here. Of course, you would have a full size, like a character, anime character that you see in visual novels, right? So you'd have it here, and then it'll actually focus on, there's game objects here, so it'll actually focus, and it'll actually put it here. And then there will be adjustments that you can actually adjust it, same with like how the dialogue bubble was above the character, so you can actually adjust it there. And then the second one, John, is in the sprite position, so it will go there. So whoever's speaking, it will actually go in and it will fade on, fade off, or you can actually, if you don't want it to actually switch, there'll be tons of different ways and controls that you could do. So if you want both the characters on at once, you can have them both on, or if you want 3 on at once, you can have 3 on at once. One for every stage position. So that's what the stage positions are. So I'm just going to go back to sprite here. So of course you got your name, enabled character image. So you don't have to have a character image if you don't want one. And then you have your sentences that you have here. And then, so for MMORPGs or different games, any games really, visual novels, even visual, for every game, you have voices sometimes for voice acting. Here's where you put it. You'd put like 3 here, not 33. and you'll have clips for your audio. So I actually went and I have audio here, so dialogue audio, Jane. So I'm going to actually just really quickly show you this as well because it's super simple. So basically, I have 3 dialogue. So I want to do voice acting for it. So let's just say, oh, here's one. So, hello there, John. It's been a while. Where have you been? So I just drag and drop it in, and then I hit play. And whenever it goes with the dialogue, hello there, John. It's been a while. So it'll actually go in. Where have you been? So every time you do an enter key, and of course I didn't cut the dialogue or the audio down, so it's starting a bit late. You can actually have it start right away or whenever. I just didn't edit the dialogue. I just wanted to test something, right? So I just really quickly recorded my voice and threw it in there. So that's for the dialogue. So if I come back here, I don't want any dialogue to play. 0. That's simple. Switch soundtrack. So I do have a music player that will be coming with this as well. And I plan on having this semi-open source. So people creating games could actually mess around with the code. So if they want to add stuff in or not, they can do it. I'll also have a request. I'm going to have a web page for this as well, for requests, or for if people are having trouble, they want to know how to do something, or if things are possible to do, that they will be able to just ask me, and they can send requests in, and then I can actually program it in for them for the next updates and stuff. And I do plan on having updates for 2 years, depends on how well, because I do want to put this in the Unity Asset Store for sale. Depending on how well the sales do, I'll extend that to like 4 years or longer. And there, like I said, I'll be updating it as well with requests as well as hot fixes if anything needs to be hot fixed. So switch soundtrack. If I do want to switch the soundtrack, do I want to switch it at the start? Do I want to switch it at the end? Do I want to switch it on the exit? So if there's you have a visual novel or something, and it's going to get all sad and stuff, and so like characters telling how she was abused and that's why she became evil or whatever, you know, and you want to switch it to a sad soundtrack, you can do that. You can switch it at the start, and then you just put your track name in. So for the music player, I have the tracks here. Play on start if I want, play through the soundtracks, soundtrack playlist. So if I want to have an actual playlist, soundtrack playlist size, which I don't want. Do I want to loop or not? Track name, this will actually be hidden. Yeah, so you just basically type in whatever track name you have in there, and then so I have it switched at start. So whenever I go to this dialogue now, I mean this NPC, the music will actually switch at the start or switch at the end or switch on exit, whatever. So like I said, you can play like sad songs if they're going in, or switch to like a player theme or whatever, quest theme. So I'm going to just close that down. Play sound effects. You can actually play sound effects too at start or end. So if there's like a stormy night and you want lightning to flash or something, or a door to open, like a creaking door open, something like that, you can add sound effects in as well. So then character animations are exactly, I don't have any character animations, I don't have a character, I'm just using a capsule right now. Basically it's just like the dialogue voice. So what happens is it'll start in the character idle animation or whatever, and then the whatever animations you put in, you'll have like the mouth moving or whatever if it's a 3D game, you know, or like the character's gestures or whatever. So you can actually put in custom basically animations, and you can have your mouth moving, hands on hips, or moving different gestures, and this will do it for you. You just put your animation clip in there. That's simple. And then you have the characters effect. So enter character, delay character box, reverse character box is not, this one's not hooked up yet. Image delay, fade in, fade out, exit character. So visual novel. So let's go, and so if this was a visual novel, you have your character that would enter in from the left stage. So so enter, this will work for, you know how they slide in? This is what that would be. So if you watch the left corner here, how it slid in. So that's like in the visual novels. So of course you'd have the full character. And then there will also be fades. So if you don't want them to enter in like that and you wanted them to, you know, fade in, Then you can have a fade in time. You can have an image delay, so if there's going to be like the dialogue first and then the image, I'll show you. It's just easy. Some of these will just be easier to show. It's just exactly what it sounds like. It's an image delay. So I have a 2-second fade, and it'll fade for 2 seconds. So you can adjust the fade time if you want, and this works for sprite as well. So if I wanted the sprite position as well, I could have that. So image delay is exactly what it says. It'll delay for 2. So since I have a image delay and a fade, it'll delay for 2 and then it will fade in. You can have them separate as well. I can just have an image delay. So boom, 1, 2, fade in, 2-second fade. That's simple. So this works for visual novel as well. So you can fade in characters, fade out. I'll also have a highlight character as well. So you know how some in like visual novels where characters will kind of go dark. More shade dark, and then the current speaker will be highlighted. That's also what I have planned. So, and that's something I'm going to be working on next year. So yeah, you can have the image delay as well. Say image delay also works for the fade out. So fade out is the exact same as the fade out. So, but the only difference is you can fade image beforehand. You can have a fade delay or fade out before choices. So if you're going to have choices, you can actually fade before choices. Exit characters, the exact same as the enter. You'll select if you want the character to exit. So that's what that is. Disable dialog UI. So if you're going to have like something happen, you can disable the dialog UI, whatever. So that's disable UI, just in case you don't want the UI on there. Well, certain animations or certain play, you can disable it. Fade in name, last sentence, delay, fade out dialogue. This will actually work as well. I can actually fade out the dialogue as well. So just like the player fade, it's the exact same thing. There's so much to show that I could literally go on all day going with this. So I can do that, and it'll actually fade out the dialogue. Yeah, there's just so much to show. I'm just going to try to whip through this. If you read something around the side here, it does exactly what it says, basically. Screen effects, I did do some of these, but every game's going to be different, a 3D game and stuff, so I might be taking screen effects out. I may leave some in for like a visual novel project. I might put them in, but I plan to take them out. Shake screen, earthquake or something happens, character falls down at a desk or something, visual novels, screen shake, lightning flash, stormy night, fog. I plan on having 2D as well, 3D fog, and then rain, the same. But with this stuff, then it's different for different games, like an MMO, you're just going to have it, you might want to just have it around the character, so it's not just all over the level and wrecking your frame rates and stuff, right? So it's going to be different, and that's why I want to actually take this out. Custom camera shot, this will actually take over the other camera shot, so if I have the camera to focus current speaker, like what I had, I could actually just have it the NPC down here, so it just doesn't focus that, or I can have a custom one. So if you have a 2D game, an RPG, and it's like a platformer, so if there's a platform here, you can actually have a custom camera angle that will like focus more towards the right, where an NPC may be or something. So if they're talking, they're like, yeah, that cave over there is dangerous, and be sure if you enter it, like have good armor, and you can actually have the camera transition over to the cave to show them and then transition back. So that kind of, it gives more of an animation feel, that they're showing the cave, which one and stuff, or whatever. Same with the players here. I can actually have a custom, I actually do have a custom one that's actually hooked up here. I can actually show you. So so I don't actually need this on, I'll just switch it on. This to show you that it will actually switch transition. So here's the player, actually let me put instant transition so we don't have to wait. And same here, I'm just gonna, and I can also disable current custom. So for the next one, if I don't want a custom one, I can actually disable this as well for the next character. This is going to be a long video. Like I said, there's so much to show. So here is the custom shot here, where it's showing both of them. I can't move the character as well. I have it disabled, and I'll show you that through the dialog system. So you can actually choose if you want them to, if they get hit by an NPC, to drop the dialogue and stuff too. That's the custom shot right there, what I was talking about. So we'll just go to the custom shot, and if it's on the second character, it'll go to the character shot, the normal NPC shot, and then it'll go to the custom one, then disabled. It has choices. The last speaker will have the choices. You don't put them in between. I'll show you why here in a second. So there's no choices here. Then it goes to the second speaker here, John and stuff, and it'll go through that. So choices, let's go over that. So choices has its own script. Basically, you'll create just empty game objects, and you'll just drag and drop the dialogue script on. I could have these all four in one dialogue and another empty, and then call it like John's Choices 1 or whatever, just so that they know that it's for John's choice. So what will happen is, if I come down here, you'll drag and drop whatever choice response in. So it has choices, so it does have choices. How many choices are they going to have? Are they going to have 4 choices, or it's only up to 4 right now? So 4 choices. And you just type whatever you want in here, and it'll come up. And right now I just put door A, door B, door C, door D, just to test. So your response for the choices, whatever the dialogue's going to switch to. So if they pick door A, I want to have a certain dialogue here, so that's what this is. Basically, it's just the same script. It's just kind of more run down, because everything from the NPC is going to actually transfer over to this as well. So the trigger distance. So with the NPC, I don't know if I went over the trigger distance. The trigger distance is the distance between where the player can talk to the NPC. It's more. It's for the not capsule. It'd be for the box collider here. So right here, so the green here. So it'll adjust this during playtime, so I can actually adjust it to like 2 to be more bigger. So when I actually hit play here, let me just put this down here. So when I hit play here, the box will actually adjust. See how it adjusted. So if you have a quest and you want it to be more of a like an area where it'll actually trigger, and you don't actually have an NPC and stuff, and it's just triggers when you get to a certain spot. That's what this is for. Or if you want more of a distance for them to talk to, that's what this is for as well. So I'm just going to switch it back to 1.5 here just for now, which is pretty. Actually, I'll make it 1.7. So that's what that is. Anyways, so it'll go into this dialogue here. So, and then it'll carry on. I can have Jane speaking again, and then I can also have John speaking as well, and then I can also edit to have whatever in here, same fades and stuff. So this is basically a basic version of the NPC script. Everything that needs to be passed over, if it's the camera transition to the current speaker, it'll be transferred over, and it'll keep going through. And then if I want, I can actually have, I'm just going to close this, more choices on this one as well. So I can actually go back into the choices here. This one has choices as well. And then you can make another empty game object and make more choices and just drag and drop them in. So if you have a, like, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire type game, you can actually, I'm going to actually be making certain things with this to work with questionnaire type games as well. So you can have, Regis Philbin or whoever speaking, what's the Prime Minister of Canada, so then you can have the responses down here. Is it going to be a choice response? Yes or no. Time limit for the choice, timeout message, so if they don't answer in time, you can have a timeout message. And then I do have a load next scene. So if it's they're getting teleported somewhere, or you want to load the next scene after they talk to the person, you can actually have them load into the next scene. And if they do load into the next scene, you can actually fade out, and then you can actually have the fade out time as well. And I do have a fade out somewhere here. Actually, it's up here in the dialog fader. So it'll fade and transition over, and that is working as well. So yeah, that's what that does. And then the dialog system here let's continue going over it. So I already went over all that stuff, the main camera. Disable player movement on dialog. So that's what happens, what I was talking about where I couldn't move. Disable mouse control as well, so if you don't want them to be able to move the mouse around when they talk to the NPC or talk to the speaker, you can disable the mouse control. I might take this out because I do have it in the NPC. Exit dialog if player is hurt. I do have a custom advanced movement script here, and it actually does have health on here as well. So if the player actually gets hit, then it'll drop the dialogue. Everyone's going to have custom scripts, I'm pretty sure, for their player, different health methods, whether it's going to be like a heart shape for like a Zelda game or a health bar or whatever. They're going to have to if it's similar to what I have, it should trigger that as well, but they might have to adjust this a bit to suit their script, which is probably just going to be one line of code, to be honest. Text effects. So do I want a typewriter effect? Do I want a bouncing effect? Do I want to fill the center to left? Do I want a scroll effect? Do I want a dialogue text idle? Let's just go over a few of these, I guess. I'm not sure if I have this one hooked up or not. I hope I do. So here's the idle, which is the bobbing. Typewriter effect. Right now I don't have any effect, right? So dialogue speed just triggered here. Typewriter effect, all of these effects that you're going to have too, center dialogue, dialogue speed, so text speed modifier, how fast, so if I hold the F I can actually speed it up. Dialogue skip on key code, so I can actually have a key code to skip the dialogue and it'll skip all the way to the end. It's not working correctly right now because it's actually skipping over the choices to the end dialogue. I want to actually end on the choice, not the end, so I'm just going to have to adjust that a little bit, but that does work as well. So if you're like in a visual novel or you're talking to like an NPC in an MMORPG and you want them to be able to skip the dialogue, you can have that. So audio settings, play audio with interact key, just check it on, have whatever you want. I don't want any audio with an interact key. Enter dialogue audio, continue dialogue audio, which I do have, which was that beep that you heard, back dialogue audio, and exit, and then typewriter effect, which you just heard as well. Custom letter audio as well, so if I want custom letter audio rather than the typewriter and stuff, I can have that. This is the UI buttons. So for the buttons that you've seen where it was door A, door B, I believe actually here, let me maximize this again. So like I said, everything is drag and drop, so the elements here for the choices, choice box A, B, C and stuff. Of course you might have like a pink bar, whatever the UI that you have in your visual novel or whatever your game you're doing. You'll just drag and drop that in, and so right now I just have black boxes, right? And so that's what this is. This is the UI here. So that's what that is right here. You just drag and drop the UI. The tab, of course, this is what turns it on and off. So you'll just drag and drop this choice UI. It'll be in their own, and then it'll turn them on and off. Choices are one or text. So if I want to actually just text for choices rather than buttons, boom. Choices are buttons, of course, if I want them to be buttons or not, I do. And then dialog box settings, and then fade in scene or fade out scene. I can actually have a fade in scene or fade out, which is kind of irrelevant for the dialog system, but it's in there anyways, because I'm going to have a fader anyways for the fade levels, right? So I may as well just have a fade in. Dialog box position, do I want it at the bottom? Do I want it center? Do I want it top? Stage objects, so these are the stage objects. So left stage position, so when I had the left character that you saw, the left sprite, that's what that position was. So if you want different positions, if you have your own custom ones a bit more up or whatever, you'll be able to just drag and drop them in. If you have your own custom positions, you want it a bit more to the right. But like I said, I'm going to have a way to adjust them, like the dialog bubble, speech bubble. So basically, yeah, I have 4 positions, I have them checked on. Oh, do I want the dialog box to enter from the bottom, like some games do have? So if I actually hit play here, let's just show you this really quick as well. So boom, it enters the bottom. Oh, okay, so I have that. Maybe, but that seems kind of plain. Do I want to idle? Yeah, sure, let's have it idle. Let's just hit check, come over here, talk to him, boom, and you see it kind of bobbing up and down now. So the dialog box is idling. And yeah, so you can put your custom UI in there, right? So this is what that is. Everything is drag and drop in and select buttons. Basically what you want to have. That's how easy this is going to be. And I just went over a lot of stuff here, so this is going to be a long video. Dialog box, so here's the dialog UI right here. So yeah, there's a lot to this. Like I said, this is 80% done. I do want to make templates for video games in this project, so like a visual novel template, an MMORPG, like a 3D one, and then a 2D like platformer and stuff to showcase this dialogue system, what it all can do with all these different games, and have like the character like idle animation and the speech with the 3D models, so the mouth moving and all that stuff. For visual novels, all the effects and everything, I want to have that as well, with the characters fading in, fading out, dark and light, and make it little. And then so with those templates, the people that purchase this dialogue feature can actually just swap theirs in with the models and then select whatever they want as well. So then that way they can just have a template for like a visual novel, switch everything that they want in, their own UI, their own characters, bam, they're ready to go. Same with, like I said, all the RPGs and stuff that I want, like a 2D one and a 3D one, because this will work with both. So that way I can also showcase this properly, because right now I just have 2 capsules, right? Well, 3 capsules, and basic black UI and a basic dialog box. So I can't really showcase this to the full potential that I want to showcase this to, because I'll have to hire artists and stuff to do some UI, proper UI. And so something else I want to do too is I want to have like 8 or 6 or a dozen UI kits with this, like different UI options, and then same with different audio effects as well, like audio clips, different audio clips for buttons and whatnot. So I want to have it coming with a whole bunch of other stuff, different audio, different UI, that people, if they don't, if they can't afford really to pay for an artist or whatever, that they can just have different options, a pink, a blue, a black. So I want to do like the similar, so like, where it's kind of the black bar at the bottom, and then they'll have like the text on there, stuff like that. Yeah, different characters that they can use, and all of that stuff that I get designed for this will be free to use. You can use it for like, you can have it in your own games. You can use it for your own games and stuff. No copyright with it. I'm not going to be copyright and strike unless people are just trying to sell this as their own, just kind of give it away or put it on different sites and stuff. Then they'll all copyright strike it. But like I said, I want to have this semi-open source where people can adjust the code how they want. They can add stuff in if they want, or whatever. But if you do, then you won't really be able to ask me too many questions, because if you've adjusted the code, I may not know what you've adjusted or whatnot. But if you do have requests that you want to see in this as well, you can request. You can even request down in this video down below what you want to see in this. And if I have time right away, I'll add it. If not, then I'll add it during the next updates. But something else I do want to do as well is expansions for this. So later on, I do want to sell kits for this as well. It would be like an RPG kit, so it'll have like a dozen audio or more audio clips for different things. It'll have different UI elements, different characters, a whole bunch of different things that they can bring and drop into their game, as well as I do want to have other stuff that works with this. Like I said, I'm working on a quest system. So if this was a quest giver, this dialogue system, it would have dialogue and a quest as well after, or a quest that they can choose, and then they could choose I don't want to go over it too much because it's just a lot involved with that as well. So I do want stuff like that, attributes and stuff like that. And that will work with like visual novels or RPGs, and I want it all to be able to work together and stuff, so I'll be selling those separate as well. How much I'm going to sell this for? I was thinking like the current ones out there are $80, which I feel is like way overpriced. I don't even want to go above half of what they sell for, and this is really simple as well. I want to do it like I don't know, below 30, maybe 20 or something. 30. I'm not too sure yet. It all depends on how much more I put in this, because I'm putting all my own time in this, right? So I don't know how much I'm going to sell this for yet, but it will be on the Unity store, and I will probably have a website for it as well. I think that's everything. So hopefully this explained, without having the proper things to actually showcase this properly, what this will do. And so yeah, thanks for watching, and see you all next time.